Welcome back to the garage. It's been quite a while since I've done any videoing. 3 weeks to be exact. Just a really busy stretch of summer. A lot of activities going on in my family and such, and just haven't had time to get out here. And the other factor is we've been in the midst of a heat wave. Probably most of the country, if you're in the States, has been in a heat wave for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And it's been especially brutal around my house. It's been 95 or 100 for, I want to say, for 2 weeks. Plus the humidity, it was just unbearable. I don't have AC in the garage, so it's just too hot to do anything. Today it's 80 degrees and beautiful. So we're going to get back at it. And as you can see, it's exactly where I left off, 3.5 weeks ago. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to mount that skid plate. That's important. We need to get that in here, and I want to do it before I put the motor in. This is the skid plate right here. Let's just take a look at it. And like I said, it came off of a 2012 aluminum frame, YFZ. I will make it fit. We shouldn't have an issue with that. And one of the good things is that this front bracket right here was on the last YFZ I did, and it was kind of stuck in the front. So I think when they pulled the motor out of it and stripped it up at the cycle shop before I got it, and they must have hung onto the skid plate or whatever. But this part, I had to use a pry bar to get it out, and it fits right in here, as you guys can see. So this should mount to that and hold the front up. So I think the rest of what I need to do is just figure out these mounting screw holes here, 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 and right there. And there's 2 more up front here. If I wanted to really get fancy, I could probably utilize those as well. So what I'm going to do is I want to get set up and yeah, get set up, start getting this thing in there. It's mocked up, and I really like the way this looks. I think we're in good shape. It looks pretty good underneath. I really don't see any real issues with it. This front hole, I don't know if you can see it, but the front hole is too far forward. I don't know if you can see that in there, but it's too far forward, and it's going to interfere with the frame. So I'm going to have to drill a new hole through here, which is okay because, let me show you down inside here. We got that massive piece of aluminum right here. It's a big chunk of aluminum. So I'm just going to drill a new hole straight through here, and I'm going to put a bolt straight through. And then I have this spot right here. Same deal. There's a big piece of aluminum support right here. I'm going to drill a hole through here, and I'm going to nut and bolt it right there. So I'll have it here, and I'll have it here, so the front will be good. Now I'll go into the side, and we're in contact with the frame right here. So what I'm going to have to do is I think I'm going to cut it at an angle like this, just for aesthetics really, and then around the edge. And then I'm just going to cut it flush with the bottom here, so it fits up flush against the frame. And then when we come to the back, we have a similar issue where that back bend there is hitting, and it's not allowing the skid plate to go all the way up and touch the frame. So I think rather than cut that, I think I'm going to just try to flatten it out a little bit in my vise, see if I can flatten it, which I should be able to. And I think that should do it. Now, as far as changing the oil once this thing's on there, that hole looks like it's in the right place, so I don't think it's an issue. But I don't have a hole to drain the oil tank, because the oil tank drain plug goes in there. So I'm probably going to have to drill a hole in this. I might have to take that boss off, but I'm going to use a hole saw probably and drill a hole in this so I can change the oil with this thing on there. I don't want to have to take this off in order to change the oil. So I'll have to do that as well. But I think first what I have to do is I have to make the cuts in this to get this thing up flush, and then I'll clamp it up again, and then we'll mark where we need to have all the holes. But let me trim what I need to trim off of here, straighten the back, and then I'll come back once I get it put back up, and we'll get a better look at what we need to do. Show you what I got so far. So I did the first side, I did the other side first, and the piece that I cut off the other side I put on here, scribe the line, and then cut it. It's the easiest way to get something symmetrical. Other than that, you're just guessing. Simple tools, I just used a regular hacksaw, hand hacksaw to come down here, And then I use my Dremel, and I scored a line across this. And now all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a pair of vice grips. See if I can do this with one hand. Clip it on there. And now that I scored it, I'm just gonna bend it till it snaps off. It shouldn't take much. And that's it. Now, I didn't use any fancy tools here. This is all stuff you guys can do in your backyard. And now I'll clean it up with a file. I'll radius this corner with the file. And it's a really coarse file, so it takes the aluminum off quick. Makes light work of it. And I'll just clean up all the edges, come back when I'm done, throw this thing on the bike. Got it back in. You can see it's flush with the front. The cuts we made here is pretty good. It's not all the way up, but I think there's a bend in it, which will suck up once we put screws in it. She'll suck up. I'm not worried about that. The back, I straightened the back out. The back is now hitting the frame. That's okay. We got some pretty good areas to fasten to. So I think it's a keeper. And I got plenty of room. I don't even think I need to remove that lug. I can just use a step bit, and I should make a big enough hole where I can get a socket in there and be able to drain that out. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I'm gonna get something to mark this all up with. Maybe I might use a punch on these, and I'll probably use a marker on that just to get center. And I'll probably use a punch on these as well to get where I need to be. And I'll drill the holes, and we'll mount this thing up. Just want to show you guys how I'm going to transfer these holes. I'm just going to use a little scribe here, and I'm just going to go inside the hole. I'm just going to make a mark on here, straight up and down. And I'm just going to drill a hole in the center of the scribe mark. Give me close enough. I'm going to be drilling clearance holes anyway, so we'll be fine. Let me get this one now, if I can. Alright, should do it. Alright, a lot of these threads here, all the threads that are on the bottom of this frame are full of paint, grease, oil, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to chase them all out with the tap. Skid plate's finished, it's all bolted in. I did find bolts long enough in my stash, but I'm one shy. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 bolts in this thing. It ain't going nowhere. Let's get a look underneath. Looks pretty good. See the back. Looks good. The front's all mounted in. See there. And that back's bolt is in. And this is kind of what it looks like underneath. Came out pretty nice. So we got the AM protectors and the skid plate. All three came off of a 2012 aluminum frame, YFZ450, and with a little bit of elbow grease, some sweat, and some time, you can make anything work and make it look good. This looks good. This looks like I bought this, and this was actually made for this four-wheeler, and we all know they weren't. But as you can see, there's ways of saving money, and there's ways of making things fit. I don't know. Tell me what you think about how this came out in the comments below, and let's move on to something else. Well, before I throw the motor in, I wanted to show you guys that I did bore that hole right there so that we can take the drain plug out of the oil tank and drain that. And I'm pretty sure this is in the right place. I want to go over some of the parts that I picked up for this bike. I've been accumulating these over the last month anyway. Since I bought this thing, I've been buying parts for it. Most of the parts that I've bought aren't even on it. I didn't really buy anything for this. Everything that I've done so far to this frame, well, that's a lie. I did buy the AM protectors in the skid plate, but everything else was already here, and I've just beautified it or fixed it. So this is the stuff that I bought, and I got quite a bit of money tied up, not tied up, but invested in this. I don't know if you want to call it an investment. In this box right here, I bought a set of Nerf bars. I think I paid 230 bucks for these Nerf bars. I'm not gonna pull them out right now, but they have the heel guards on them as well. And I bought them because I didn't even have foot pegs for this bike. And if my wife's gonna take it over, you know, and become her own bike, I wanted to make sure that there was heel guards to protect her from running her feet over and stuff, or catching a tree or anything like that. So Nerf bars are very important. And as you can see here, I have Nerf bars on every single ATV I use, because nothing ruins your day more than catching a tree on your back wheel. You don't want to do that, trust me. All right, so let's see what we got in this box here. This is all brand new stuff. Well, not all brand new. I got a new air filter for it. You can see the radiator here I painted, looks nice. The tank's painted, that's in here. I don't think I showed you guys the upper motor mount. I did the same thing to this as I did to the lower motor mounts. I sandblasted it, and then I wire wheeled it, and it looks brand new. Cost $0 to do that. Here are the lower mounts. Same deal, sandblasted, but instead of wire wheeled, I used a buffing wheel on these, and they came out really nice. What else I got in here? Oh, so I ordered, I tried to order a shock protector for the back shock on this thing, and they wanted like 25 bucks for just the rear shock protector or cover. So I bought a set of 3 for 25 bucks. I mean, they're just plain black, but it's the 2 front and the rear, and I'm just going to throw the rear on there because I really like the YFZ special edition ones. They match the plastic. I couldn't find a rear for it, so we're going to throw this on. We're going to do that now. Let's dig in here a little more and see what else we got. Also, I got a ton of other stuff in here. What else do I got here? That's the front sprocket that I'm going to replace. I got that's a solenoid. I also have these things here that I'm going to put on. This is the chain guide for the swing arm. Keep the chain from rubbing. This is 3D printed. It wasn't a lot of money. Bought it on eBay. I'm going to throw that in. And I also bought, let's see what else I got here. Sorry, Pop. Chain rollers. So let's go throw that stuff on. I had to go grab the old screw, the screws that came with it. They're okay for the top because it goes through the frame, but it's not the right thread. I think it might be an American thread. Don't know, don't have time to check it. So I still had the bolt that came out of the old one, so we're gonna throw it right in there. All right, let's take a look. As you can see here, swing arm protector's on. Hold that out of the way. And you can see the lower roller's on and the upper roller's on. So that is handled and all set, and we have shock cover on, so looking good. All right, let's install the brake lever, rear brake lever. And I'm just going to put a little bit of Never Seas in here. Not a lot, just a little. Just to get keep them from rusting. They're a little tricky to get out. And then down here on the pivot point, we're going to put brake caliper grease. Some synthetic grease here, keep it from seizing up. Smear it all around nice. There is a groove here. You want to fill that groove full of grease if you can. This guy's got to come up top. Before we throw the motor in the frame, I just want to assess what we have here. It's got some orange paint still on parts of the motor. I want to get all that off before I put it in the frame, because if I use paint stripper, I don't want the paint stripper to hit the frame and then take the new paint off the frame and all that stuff. There's a little bit of orange paint on this. I don't know if you guys can notice that, but it's also bent. So I'm going to take the shifter off and straighten it out in the vise. I also noticed just by looking at it that these plugs look brand new, so I'm going to assume that somebody replaced the stator recently, which is good. And this looks like the bike might have thrown a chain at one time, because this bearing cover here, or seal cover, is pretty mangled. But I got a couple of motors, if you guys remember, I got a couple of these motors hanging around, so I'm pretty sure I got a couple of these. So I'll pop this off and replace it with one that's not damaged. We'll do that. Spin it around here and see what else we got. I'm gonna spin it the other way so it doesn't knock stuff off the shelf here, off the bench. These hoses hanging out. I don't really see much else wrong here. I'm gonna take the oil feed for the head. I'm gonna take that off. There's some gold paint on it. I'm gonna wire wheel the paint off of that, reinstall it. It's a little bit dirty. Might hit it with some WD-40 and try to clean it up a little bit before we put it in, because it is somewhat greasy. There's some orange paint still right here. I'll probably just hit that with a little bit of stripper. I'm going to try to strip the paint off this. I don't think I'm going to remove it. I might just leave it on. It's not leaking. So I'll try to strip the paint off of it right here. If it doesn't work out, then I'll take it off. I do have a gasket for it, so I don't need to buy one. I'm probably going to swap the oil filter out while it's here on the bench, get that done. And I think it's leaking right here. I don't know if you guys can see that water right there. I think the O-ring is leaking on this, so I might pop that off while we're here. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to pop you in the stand, and we'll start taking some of this stuff off. You can see there's quite a bit of paint on there. This side's really painted. So I'm going to wire wheel that up. You can see here that that's pretty mangled. So we'll replace it. Pretty sure I got one in my stash somewhere. I noticed that we're missing a bolt here on the starter gear cover, which is a little troubling. See if I got something in my stash for that. Alright, that's fixed. Alright, this is one of the motors that I have in my stash. It's damaged right here. So I am going to take this piece off and we're going to use it on the other engine. As you can see, this one is perfect, no damage at all. So I am going to put this one on here because I may rebuild this motor in the future. We just have regular paint stripper. I usually put it in an old bowl with a small acid brush, and I'm just going to brush it on the areas where I want to take the orange paint off, and it will literally take it right off. This is the same paint stripper that I use on everything. It's time consuming, but worth it in the end because it looks so much better when you get all this crappy overspray off. Finished product, you can see there's no more orange anywhere on here. You just put this stuff on there for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and you can just really wipe it off with a paper towel. I use steel wool, makes it faster. I just steel wool it, and then I just wipe it down with a rag. And I see it's a tiny bit of speck of orange right there, but that's okay. Much better. And same thing with this. I just used a rag and wiped it, and the paint came right off the rubber. All right, let's flip it around, get set up, and let's work on that clutch cover. All right, well, I took the oil filter out. I gotta change it anyways. I threw it in the trash. Didn't have any metal debris in or anything, so I could clean down inside of here, get all the blue off. I didn't take the cover off. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, but I just wanted to show you guys that I did take this out. It's pretty clean in there, and I am going to install this now. All right, motor's all set now. Everything's done. Everything looks good. I cleaned it all up. The new cover's on. Looks pretty good. Looks a lot better than that gold one. We have, I got the new side cover on here. I wire wheeled it, so it looks really good. Put the new bolt in here. Clean this all up. There's no more orange paint on this side of the motor. Let me see if I can spin it around real quick for you. Side cover looks fantastic. There's no more orange paint on that. I mean, blue paint on that. It was a coat of white and then blue over the white, so it had two coats of paint on it, but took it all off. It looks great. The side of the engine looks great. I wire wheeled the oil feed. You can see there now, it looks really nice. Basically just use this little drill press with a wire wheel on it. Comes right off. I did grease that, and I think at this point we're going to slap this thing in the frame and bolt it up and move on from there. So let me set you up in a stand, and we're going to throw this thing in the frame. All right, swing arm bolts through. I'm just gonna put the bottom bolt in and come back when I'm done. All right, the motor's in. All the motor mounts are tight. Swing arm's tight. Top mount's tight. Everything's tight. You can see there. The mounts in there that I cleaned all up. These mounts look really nice. The lower bolt is in. Everything is tight over here. Let's go over the other side and take a look. That motor mount's in. I did put new hardware in to make it look a little better. Lower bounce in. And just one thing I want to point out. Yeah, I was wrong. The oil drain hole doesn't go over the other hole. Not a big deal. I'll just put a hole in that thing when I'm ready to change the oil. That's all. I I think what I'm gonna do now is now that I have the motor in there, and it's completely mounted, I think I'm gonna put the oil tank in now. So I'll throw you guys in the stand. Let's do that. Tank is fully in. It's bolted. I have oil feed line on there and bolted there. Oh, bolted there. And I have the oil feed line there. All right, I think now is a good time to pop the radiator back in. All right, let's plug in the stator. We have 2 ground wires here, and they were basically mounted on the tank mount. I think I'm going to mount them here. I don't really know what they're for yet, but they're definitely ground wires, and I think I'm going to drill a hole in here, and I'm going to mount these 2 wires right there. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to put a cap screw in it. That should do it. And now they're grounded again. And I'll show you what I got for here. I bought new tank mounts. Let me get them. All right, so the tank mounts I bought, this is the number. That's for the bushing. And then this is for the collar washer. And they mount up here, and they hold the front of the tank from flopping. This bike didn't have any on it, so I bought them. Podzilla, it's the only way you can get genuine Yamaha stuff. All right, there's the new tank mounts and the new ground I put in. All right, we're in good shape. The radiator's in, fan's in, oil tank's in, motor's mounted, everything's tight. We got a ton more stuff to do. I think right now though, I am going to end this video, and we'll come back and we'll do much more on this thing. We still got to put the tank in, the oil tank on the back here, the breather, the air box, the wiring. We got tons of stuff to do on this thing. But it is coming along, and it's actually looking pretty nice. This is going to be really nice when it's done. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks everyone who subscribed. Hopefully more people will subscribe so I can continue to make good videos. And can't wait to get this thing done. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I know there was a bit of a delay between videos here. This video took a little bit longer to get out, and the last video came out a little bit late. Reason for that is I've been really busy for the last 3 weeks. I've had a lot of family outings and weddings and baby showers, and I just blah blah. Life got in the way. Wasn't able to get out into the garage. Back now, everything's in all the busy times are past. So we will continue to post once a week. This thing's coming out fantastic. Continue to subscribe and watch and all that stuff. And I know I'm starting to repeat myself, but couple things I want to tell you guys. That engine, that lower end that I redid, that KX250F lower end, the owner of that bike is bringing me the whole bike. He wants me to finish it, so that will be coming in the future, where you'll see me put the top end on it, fully assemble it, and get a first start out of it. So that's going to be a pretty cool video. I can't wait to finish that bike. Never rode one before, and I can't wait to take it for a ride. Anyway, that's coming. I also have some more work to do. My YFZ450 is having a little bit of an overheat problem. So we're gonna go into that. We're gonna see if we can figure out how to cure that problem. That's coming in the next video. So again, we're gonna finish this up. There may be 2 more videos on this, but I hope you guys are enjoying it so far, because I know I am, and it's coming out to be a pretty nice bike. So I've talked enough. I'm done blabbing. I'll see you guys in the next video.